Whether you're brand new to Overwatch or a seasoned veteran, understanding the hero matchups in this game can often be the difference between winning and losing. So in this thought process series, we're going to talk through every role in the game, and I'll be explaining which hero you should pick in which situation with which skill sets, and most importantly, why you should pick them. Hopefully once you understand that, you'll be able to adapt to any situation on the fly and understand exactly what to do no matter what chaos comes your way. So let's take a look at our support roster. We'll go alphabetically, starting with our old favorite, Ana. Now in Overwatch 1, with 2 tanks to heal, Ana was often considered a strong pick as a main healer, i.e. the support that would do the majority of the healing on the tanks. But in Overwatch 2, there's only one tank, and that tank is also a lot more durable, meaning they need less help and active healing. So going forwards, you should see Ana as a primarily synergy and anti-synergy based hero. What do I mean by that? Well, in terms of raw numbers, Ana doesn't compete super well with the other supports, because it's basically impossible for her to be damaging and healing at the same time. But where she does have an advantage is her abilities. Her Sleep Dart and Anti-Nade are unique in the support category, and these are excellent at shutting down particular heroes and especially certain tanks. Tanks are relatively easy to hit with your cooldowns, and they can provide big value, so sleeping a Winston who's always looking to dive your team is huge impact. Similarly, tanks like Roadhog and Junker Queen have no shielding abilities, which means that they are open targets to being anti-naded and killed. So consider picking Ana when you're up against tanks like that, tanks that you know you can land your cooldowns against. If you're somebody who is thoughtful about their gameplay and are confident that you can save your cooldowns for the right moment and execute them well, then Ana is the hero for you. On top of that, Ana's Nano Boost synergizes very well with lots of heroes, particularly Winston and Genji. The Nano Boost Dragon Blade combo is an almost guaranteed teamfight win, and a Winston with Nano Boost is exponentially better than without one. Without one, he can often get burst and focused down, but with a Nano Boost, he can often carve up entire teams very quickly with no problem, because his weapon does cleave damage, i.e. it damages multiple people at the same time. On top of that, Ana has the longest range of any support, which means she can keep up with a Winston or Genji that are very far away. So if you like your sniper heroes, Ana is the support for you. The next hero to consider is Baptiste. Now Baptiste is a support who requires the highest APM, which stands for actions per minute. Basically, it just means how fast can you operate at any given point in time. On the face of it, you'd think that you have to choose between healing or damaging as Baptiste, but there is a certain cadence to his gun, which means that you can alternate damage in between the time it takes for him to cool down his heal grenades. If you're somebody who has the ability to keep up with something like this and constantly alternate your heals and damage, flicking from one target to the other, then Baptiste is a powerful choice, because you'll be getting full value of his loaded kit. Additionally, Baptiste has some really good hit scan damage output as a support, meaning that he's a great choice for taking duels with someone like a Pharah, who your DPS might otherwise be unable to kill. Baptiste also comes with the ability to provide large amounts of burst healing, meaning he can heal up clumped teammates very quickly. This is particularly good when your team is running compositions that like to stick together, like rush comps based around Reinhardt or poke comps that sit and fire from behind Sigma's shield. And his immortality field is just an incredible ability that can really bail teammates out of trouble. So if you're somebody who plays fast and can keep up with a character with a lot of tools to his kit, then Baptiste is the one for you. Our next support to discuss is Brigitte. Brig, as she's known to the community, was designed as a highly defensive anti-dive support. And although she's gone through many changes, being a defensive protector of her team is still Brig's strongest suit. Being able to whipshot away divers and then heal teammates all around her makes it so that a backline with Brig is very hard to take down. So if you're someone who likes being the defender of your team, or you feel your particular team might be getting overwhelmed, then Brig is the play. Remember that to trigger her Inspire, Brigitte just needs to hit an opponent, and that will start healing herself as well as all her teammates around her. Similarly, once activated, Rally will start giving overhealth to teammates anywhere close to her. So if you anchor yourself with your teammates, you can protect them just by your presence. Additionally, her health packs can be thrown to targets very far away, meaning that she's actually really great at helping out her own flankers win duels that they otherwise might have lost. Try and use your Inspire for healing teammates around you, and keep one armor pack in hand for any teammate that might suddenly need it, near or far. The next support is Overwatch's newest, Kiriko. Kiriko truly brings some new things to the game, including 2 completely unique abilities. But before we talk about any of that, we have to acknowledge the blunt truth. Kiriko is an all-out DPS support. You can heal with her, obviously, but the reality is that this is a hero meant for the support players who are a little bit bloodthirsty. If you've got good aim and you like to assassinate backlines, then Kiriko is the hero for you. Swift Step makes it so that she can teleport instantly to allies quite far away. You can use this to set up ambushes with flanking heroes like Sombra or Tracer and take entire teams by surprise. Beyond that, her Protection Suzu not only cleanses allies of negative effects, but temporarily makes them invulnerable. That means that things like Ana's anti-nade that we spoke about earlier, or the same effect from Junker Queen's ultimate, can be removed immediately by Kiriko. So if your team is being harassed by those kind of abilities, or if you're with a teammate like Roadhog for example, who often gets shut down by anti-nades and sleep darts, then Kiriko will solve most of your problems. Her ultimate also brings with it a haste mechanic, which speeds up everything that's being done inside it. Particularly when comboed with other heroes, this can be frighteningly effective. So if you've got a buddy you like terrorizing games with, then swift step with him into the backline, Suzu to protect yourselves, and pop the Kitsune Rush to pull out those play of the game highlights that you guys will be laughing about all day. The next support to discuss is Lucio. Lucio has some of the most unique movement in the game with his ability to wall ride. It's simple enough to get started with, but mastering the ability to wall ride well, while also shooting accurately, is something that takes a lifetime to master. Oh crap. So if you're someone who likes perfecting difficult techniques that give powerful rewards, then Lucio might be the one for you. The wall riding makes Lucio really hard to kill and a deadly character to duel, especially when you're isolated. It's this and the next thing, his speed boost, that make him such a powerful pick. A lot of engagements can be difficult or straight up impossible for your team if they have to cover long distances on their own. Lucio allows you to make up those distances a lot faster and make otherwise ineffective attacks deadly. Especially a character like Reinhardt, who lacks range, benefits a lot from the speed that Lucio can give him to get to where he wants to be to do maximum damage. So if you've got a buddy who likes playing Reinhardt for example, then you'll truly be their best mate if you pick Lucio with him. From Lucio, we head to Mercy, who's one of the most popular characters in the game. Mercy is a great hero for players who are coming from a non-FPS background. That is to say, players who haven't had much experience with shooter games before. Pretty much every part of her kit can be accessed quite easily, so you don't have to worry about that. Her skill comes in her tactical decision making and her movement. Mercy's greatest attribute to her team is her ability to damage boost and enable a single target, keeping them alive through thick and thin and making them much more potent with a well-timed boost to their damage at the opportune moment. On top of that, what makes her fun to play is her mobility, the way she can weave from one side of the fight to the other, dodging all the damage she needs to, while still keeping her beam on the correct target. So if you like a playstyle with lots of mobility without FPS requirements, and get satisfaction enabling your teammates without necessarily getting all the glory for yourself, then Mercy is the character for you. And if you've got a DPS character in particular on your team who will thrive when enabled, like a good hitscan or Pharah player, then Mercy might be the right call to pick out a spawn. Moira is our next support to discuss, and she often gets a bad rep for being the go-to pick for, more self-focused players.
Tell me how this feels.
Though the DPS Moira gets a bad rep, the great thing about this hero is that you can quite seamlessly weave between doing damage and healing your teammates when you need to. If I could summarize what makes Moira a good pick, I would say this. The first thing is that she offers consistent and reliable output of both heals and damage without much mechanical demand. Meaning you can always put out good numbers in any game of Overwatch without having to be an FPS god. Furthermore, she's really flexible, so if the particular game you're in needs you to DPS more, you can DPS more. If you need to heal more, you can heal more. And a lot of that comes down to perhaps her greatest asset, her survivability. Moira's Fade makes her really hard to kill, and she can always escape out of tricky situations. So if you want a good all-round character who doesn't necessarily excel in any one area, but can handle pretty much any situation thrown at her, then Moira is your gal. And yes, sometimes when all else fails, you just gotta lock the nails and end up in their backline. Our final support is the killer monk that is Zenyatta, one of my personal favorite heroes. Pound for pound, Zenyatta is one of the most offensive supports you can pick. His Discord Orb really makes life difficult for enemy players who have it on them, because it means they automatically take 25% more damage from everyone while they're under its effects. But on top of that, his own damage is incredibly high, and he's more than capable of taking out entire teams on his own. He is very squishy, and although they've given him a kick ability in Overwatch 2, which is very powerful, he doesn't have any mobility. So the most important thing is that you have to be someone who is capable of positioning smartly if you're going to play Zenyatta. But he doesn't have any footsteps either because he floats. So I recommend that you at least occasionally position well by being on the flank and deep in their backline. Damn, this guy's just given up now. He's like, damn, this guy just got me. Winnable. I f***ing am rolling!
Only Zen.
If you're someone who likes clutch moments and big pop-off potential, then Zenyatta is absolutely your guy. The glass cannon hero of Overwatch. And that concludes our thought process for supports. So, who did you like the sound of? Who do you most want to main? If you'd like live tips on how to play any hero or just some educational streams, then check out my Twitch in the video description, where I'm streaming 5 days a week and I try to teach players with both examples and VOD reviews. Next up, we'll do a thought process to understand which tanks you should pick in Overwatch 2 and why. But if you'd like to support me directly, then please do consider signing up to my Patreon, which gives me a much better cut than most other platforms and allows me to thank you directly in turn. On that note, I'd like to shout out my current patrons who do the incredible job of supporting me, and without whom I would not be able to make the videos I make. But that's it from me. I'll be back before you know it with another video. See you guys soon.